I guess the first thing that we got to find out is, before we start doing a hyperlapse, is what exactly is a hyperlapse? Actually, a hyperlapse is still just a time lapse. The only difference is that you are moving your camera ever so slightly at each frame at a time, and this causes a very dynamic looking time lapse. So for a drone hyperlapse, you'll obviously need this: Adobe After Effects and DaVinci Resolve, just to create that tilt and shift effect. I'm pretty sure you can do the tilt and shift effect in After Effects, but I'm just more familiar using DaVinci Resolve, so I'll stick to DaVinci Resolve for this one. In your DJI app, go to the photo setting, change from single shot to time shot photo, and put the settings at 2 seconds intervals. Now all you've got to do is just fly that drone. For this tutorial, I'm making it as a point of interest sort of hyperlapse, which means it just circles around the object. What you need to do is get to the spot, the center spot of where you want the drone to circle around. Once you've recorded the POI, just back your drone just a little bit according to how big you want the circle to be and start snapping away. All you've got to do next is just press that shutter button and let that drone snap at every interval, and once you're happy with the amount of pictures you have, start bringing it into post. So open up Adobe After Effects, and in Adobe After Effects, start importing the file over to this section here. So I just press a right click there, go to File, and in File, select the sequence of pictures you want to use for the hyperlapse. So in this case, I'm just going to click on the first picture and make sure that the Import JPEG sequence is ticked and press Open. Once that's done, the whole sequence of the pictures will be actually uploaded here. Now drag and drop it into the composition button here and leave it on the timeline. Now I'm just going to do a quick preview of the playback just to see how stable is the picture, or how stable is the video. So it does look like it's a little bit shaky. So what I usually do is I put a warp stabilizer just to make it a lot more stable. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in under animation, click on warp stabilizer VFX here. I might speed up the video anyway, because it'll take quite some time just to render it out. Right, so once the stabilization has been completed, we are just going to play back the stabled image just to have a look and see whether or not everything's good. So far it's looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export the file now. So what you do is go to File and then click on Export and Add to Render Queue. So in the render queue, I'm just going to rename the file. I'm just going to call it Hyperlapse here. And I'm just gonna choose and in compression, I'm just gonna choose ProRes for the compression. So in here, you've got to go for format options and select on ProRes. I'm gonna use Apple ProRes HQ. You don't really have to use ProRes if you don't want to, but because I'm going to actually show you how to do the tilt and shift effect in DaVinci Resolve, so I don't want it to look too compressed in there. So anyway, I've just chosen Apple ProRes 422 HQ. Click on OK. OK to that, and start rendering it out. Okay, so once that's done, let's bring it over to DaVinci Resolve. Once you're in DaVinci Resolve, go to the media panel here. I've got DaVinci Resolve 12.5, but it's pretty much the same all around, even if you've got the latest one. Go to the media section here, and right click and import media. So in here, I'm just going to bring over the file that I just rendered in Adobe After Effects. So it's here, and I'm going to open it up here and then click on the change frame rate. Right, so once you've got it in your media pool here, bring it over to the edit window or the edit module and drag and drop it into the timeline here. Okay, so once it's in the timeline, go to the color correction section down here, and what we're going to do is we're going to apply a tilt and shift look for this particular video, just to make it look like something that looks a bit more like a toy. Okay, so in here, just select the power window, click on it, select the circle, and now in this tab here, drag the circle to be a lot bigger, right, and drag the outer part as well to soften up the fall off. Now squeeze the circle to be a bit more elliptical, and now drag it out a bit more. And as you can see in this window here, right, you can actually see that right now the picture or the video is actually the fall off is only happening in the central part, so the sides are not affected. What we want is a reverse of that, because we want the tilt and shift to cause blurring to the side and not to the center. So what we're going to do is go to the circle power window here, and we're going to click on the invert mask here. So as you can see, it's already switched here. This is originally what it looks like, and if you do an invert, now you can see the outer rim is the part that's going to receive the blurring. So this is exactly what we want. So once that's done, we're going to go to the blur section here and have a look at how much you like the blurring to be. For me, I think something like that doesn't look too bad right now. So I'm just gonna do a quick play just to have a look and see whether or not it does look a bit toy-like. So far it's looking not too bad. Kind of like it. Maybe I'll just give it a little bit more blurring just to make it look more pronounced. Gonna go back to the power window, and I'm just going to bring the window down just a little bit so that it's more focused on the building. Okay, and I'm just gonna press play, just have a look. So if you're happy with the blurring results, now it's time when you render it out. Click on this deliver button here and rename the file. Click on the file here, and I'm gonna do Hyperlapse tilted. Okay, just gonna rename it that, and I'm just gonna double check on the compression. Yeah, I want it to be ProRes 422 HQ, so that's fine. And once you're happy with the settings here, as in like the file name, the compression and all that, click on the add to the render queue. So now you've got to select where you want to render it out to. So in this case, for the purpose of the tutorial, I'm just going to render it out onto the desktop. So I'm just going to click on the desktop, click OK, and tell DaVinci Resolve to start rendering it out. And that's basically it. And now that you know how to make a hyperlapse without owning a Mavic 2, go crazy, go and make those hyperlapses. So if you did find this tutorial helpful, please give it a like, and please do subscribe to our channel at Qippy's channel. See you guys in the next tutorial.